Hey, what's up? I am Michael Moyer, and this is the channel that I started. It's really informal, and I was just going to kind of reach out to you guys and explain a couple things. Green Life is a company that my wife and I used to run, and we've since no longer do that consulting and landscape type of things, but we still use that as kind of our calling card, so to speak. So that's why the page is named that on the channel. Um, Wanted to be really informal and just wanted to give you an idea of why I started this channel. It really has nothing to do with having a channel or having subscribers. It's great if somebody subscribes, but we're doing a lot of projects. My wife Kara and I have several projects going. We like to work outside, and we've got about 40 acres. And I'm going to show you a little bit of some we've been doing. If you've been paying attention, we've had some shorts. I've been putting on some shorts of building an irrigation system. Doing that DIY. I think that's something that everybody can do if you're interested in learning how to install an irrigation system and those kind of things. There's some easy ways to do it, and so we've done that. So I just wanted to share that with some people, but also for me, selfishly, the point of this channel is so I can see some of our projects years later. I can pay attention to what's going on, and I can also, remember how I, buried that pipe in the ground or where that wire connection is. And I kind of want to chronicle the journey of this property that we've purchased. We looked for about 12 years for a piece of property to move out into the country, and just had a really hard time finding a place that fit kind of our wants and needs, and that it made sense. It's something that for us, we're Christian people, and we prayed about it. We really just wanted to have peace about it, and so we were happy where we were, but we were looking for something out in the country, a place we can raise our kids, a place that's quiet, but we can have some animals and just have a little bit of peace of our own at home. And so that's kind of where that comes from. And I'm going to show you some of one of my projects today. You'll find that I am kind of a turf realist. I am regarding like grass and those kind of things. I have a degree in turf grass science, and that's from about 20 years ago. Not quite, but getting close. And I worked in that field for quite some time, but now I just get to enjoy doing those things for myself. Having a nice lawn or having an area to entertain in. And so with that, you'll find that regarding like different ideas, grass versus synthetic turf, I have some pretty strong opinions. I'll probably make some videos about that at some point, but it's not that I'm a grass guy or I'm a turf guy. People have said before, well, you're a grass guy, so you're going to disagree with anything someone says about synthetic turf. Not necessarily. It has its place, okay? But that's just kind of something about me. You're going to get into that. We'll probably have some debates as football season's starting here. You'll see some things online, and I'll probably make some videos about that just because it interests me and I have a strong opinion about it. But moving on, a couple of the goals for us. We just want to create a beautiful property, someplace that we can have a garden, we can have nice turf areas, we have a hay field. Hope to have some cows someday. The cattle market's pretty high right now, so since we've moved out here, we have not invested in cows. It's just doesn't make a lot of sense at this point. So when that market corrects, we'll get into some cows. I've got to do some work to my pond. It's got some algae, and part of that's because it's too shallow. It needs to be dug deeper. And so I hope to share a lot of these things with you. While on the practical side too, sometimes I just jump in the skid, or sometimes I jump in machinery or run outside and just get some work done. I don't chronicle everything, but hoping that I can give some ideas on some of the projects. So this would be kind of just my first long form video of the website or of the YouTube channel, and I hadn't had one yet, so it was a good opportunity to kind of introduce myself. My wife, who will be on every once in a while, but she really doesn't like to be in front of a camera. No problem with that. But she's a very smart person. She is a horticulturalist and has a degree in that. We owned a greenhouse for many years, and so she's got a lot of wisdom regarding, garden stuff and, landscape design, landscape plants, and how all that is to be done. So she's kind of the brain trust there. I kind of live on the grass side, and I like to stay there. So want to show you a couple things. First of all, I want to show you this video, and I'm just going to let it run while I talk about it. But this is an overhead shot of our house, and so you'll see that you can kind of see the lateral lines running, up and down on the page there, and you can also see that diagonal line. That diagonal line is a main line, and what I did with our irrigation system is I ran a main line loop, and I didn't realize that was a video. I guess it's moving. That's kind of trippy. But with that main line loop, then you'll see that for me, we don't have a lot of pressure. We are on county water, and the pressure is great in the house. But if you're wanting to run an irrigation system, then it's not super high. So I went with residential heads, residential system, 13 zones, and those zones have about 5 heads per each zone. I ran a Rainbird 5000 series. I'll kind of show you that after this is over. And I wanted to give you this perspective and kind of walk you through it. So, of course, 180-degree heads on the right, and you can see my daughter and myself standing there. That's my little girl, Jovi. We're just flying the drone. And you see the grass is in bad shape. Not really concerned about that at this point. I'll tell you about my renovation plans here in a little bit, but we kind of let that go this summer as I was putting in this irrigation over the last month or so. You see I got a beautiful sycamore tree there. That created some issues with trenching, but we were able to reroute some of the lines and get everything going. Speaking of that, lots of roots. And one of the things that I like to do, and I'm probably old school, but I like to hard pipe everything. And by that I mean I use 1-inch PVC in this case. I did use class 200 pipe. It's a little more flexible. But the beauty of it for me is that if a big root system on a tree or landscaping plants or something is growing next to one of my lines years later, it's not going to pinch it off. What's going to happen is it's just going to crack the PVC, which I know sounds horrible, but if it cracks it, then I've got water in a puddle in the yard, and I know where I can find it so I can fix it. People have called me over the years and said, hey, I've got a zone not working or whatever the case may be. We can't figure it out. And what happens is, what we found is some of those times someone has come in and they've pulled in poly pipe, which is fantastic. It's a really quick way to get irrigation in the ground. It doesn't disturb the surface. And with that poly pipe, you'll find that a big root system on landscape plants or trees, whatever, can pinch that off. And so then it's really hard to pinpoint where the problem is, and what you end up doing is laying a whole entire new line instead of finding where the pinch point is and fixing it. So for me, hard pipe, it's absolutely the way to go. Yes, it takes longer. I have to glue it all together, 20-foot sticks. Class 200 pipe is awesome. It goes up to 200 PSI as far as the rating. You're not even going to get close to that coming off a county water or city water supply. And you can see the laterals are kind of flying down them here. And on the other side, I did straight lines as best as I could. That goes back to my turf and sports field days. We want to do straight laterals across the field. And then here at the end, we kind of running out of space, so I wasn't going to run a whole nother line out into the field. So we did a couple that were kind of boxed a little bit. You can see the skid there. I did use a trencher on a skid loader to trench all this, and then I just pulled it back in with the bucket. Of course, I ran wire, all this. The boxes are to the outside. There are no boxes out in the middle of the yard, so I did valve complexes. You can see that in some of my shorts. The valve complexes I have 3 boxes with 3 zones in them, and then I have 1 box that has 4 zones, and then I have 2 drip zones that are in the actual landscape beds, and they are singular, not in a complex. So just wanted to give you an idea of that. And so what we're going to do soon, as you're looking at the yard, is probably this week. I got some rain coming today. I'm going to round up and terminate everything that's in the yard. It's a bunch of crabgrass, a bunch of weeds, and then I'm actually going to use a product called Tenacity, mesotrione herbicide in a granular form, and I'll put that down after I've terminated this, and then I'm going to plant bluegrass, and we're going to use HGT bluegrass. Pretty excited about that. It is really bumpy out there right now, so one of the things I may do before I plant is mark all my heads that I just put in the ground, and I may run my tiller over most of the yard after we get a little moisture, and then I will use my mat drag and just kind of drag that down smooth. I am planning at some point to use a reel mower on the front yard that is 1.25 acres, and I'm pretty excited about that. I did pick up an old Jacobson diesel 5-gang fairway unit, and if you know much about doing like a reel mower setup, then you know that you got to mow more often. You're going to mow shorter. I'm planning to mow this about an inch, maybe a little over an inch, and you gotta mow with more frequency, because you may have heard of the 1/3 rule. You never want to cut off more than 1/3 of the grass plant at any given mowing, or you're basically injuring the plant. Of course, mowing it is injuring at any time, any length. But if you cut off more than 1/3, you're really doing some damage to the plant system, and you're weakening the turf. And so with that, you don't want to be cutting very much. So what happens is, with a reel mower, you see at golf courses, they'll mow the fairways, they'll mow the greens. Greens, most of the time, they're mowing 4 or 5 times a week, and that's because they want it to grow just a tiny amount before they cut it off. That keeps it nice and fine and healthy. So I would have to mow more. So I did pick up a 5-gang. It's like 8 feet wide, which is fantastic. I should be able to mow this front yard in something like 10 or 15 minutes, which is great. Right now I mow with a John Deere 930 Z mower, which is like 60 inches. It's a great mower, really like it, but you're not going to get quality cut under that 2.5 inch mark. So gonna move to the reels, but one of the things I need to do is really smooth that surface. It's pretty rough from all the work that I've done to it. And so I'm going to do some top dressing. I'm going to use some masonry sand, and then I'll take my mat drag again and drag that out. I'm going to top dress pretty heavy, and then we're going to seed everything. So you'll get to kind of see that process over the next, couple months. But it is August the 27th, so I hope to get seed down relatively quickly within the next week. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that in the next week or so, trying to get things in the ground, because the weather is turning fantastic here. It's been cooler at night. It is going to warm back up the next week or so. But now that I have water available to the yard, I can run that and keep everything nice, and I can run my seed cycles, so I can keep that seed wet and get everything germinated without it drying out. So I wanted to share that with you. And one thing I do want to tell you too is, sometimes you screw up, right? And some people want to have a channel and they're not going to tell you the things that they screw up on. Well, one thing I did screw up on, if you look in my shorts, I've got a short kind of about putting the nozzles in the heads. And so all my 360s, which there's actually 35 of them, there's 63 heads in this system. 35 of my heads, I put 5 nozzles in, the number 5 nozzles. And it was just a little too big of a nozzle for the volume that I have. So I did a test last night and I jumped it down. I was trying to go too high because I want more water volume and output, so I don't have to run the zones as long to get to the desired depth of water that I want. So I was really trying to push the limit. I got a little ahead of myself. I put the 5 in. I don't quite have enough volume to run that 5. It shoots out good. It reaches the 31 feet that I need on my spacing, but it's just kind of got like a stream. Like there's no curtain. We want the curtain to be full. So I took one of the zones last night. I changed the nozzles to a 4 just to make sure. The 4 looked pretty good. So I'm pretty confident that I need to change the other 30 heads to a 4, which kind of stinks. So I'll have to go through. They're all in the ground, so I'll have to pop them all up and put the holder on. And some of you guys have seen this in my shorts, but on a Rainbird 5000 series, you got the head and then your nozzle. In this one, it's orange nozzle. This one is pre-installed for a 180 degree head with a 2-gallon or a number 2 nozzle. So I'm going to change those to a 4, which is right. You want a 2 on your 180s and on your 360s, then you're going to go to like a 4. Makes a lot of sense. That makes your timing right. You know, theoretically, one is going to put out the same water at 5 minutes as the other will put out at 10. So, or actually at the same time frame. I misspoke there. But anyway, that's kind of the idea. This is you can kind of see this. This is the layout. I did a really large blueprint of it. And you can see how the zones line out. You see those straight lines that we were flying through, and then the couple boxy ones. Five heads per zone, basically. And that's kind of what we're working with. Couple things that is going on here. There's a lot happening, so I'm trying to get all this grass in the ground. I'm trying to get my bluegrass going for the yard, of course. But in the meantime, it's almost hunting season as well, so I'm working on some food plots, and right now I'm just mowing them down because I let them get away from me this summer while I was doing this project. And so we're going to plant some fall food plots, some turnips, some radishes, those kind of things. It would be a brassica plot, and then we will probably look later in the year. I'll throw out some wheat and stuff like that. So I want to show you a video of one of the plots. This is back on the back side of the 40 acres, and it's a long skinny plot. We call it the boneyard, and boneyard's a pretty great place because there's a creek that comes right down in a kind of a low water area, and there's a huge bedding area just south of it. There's the bedding area. You can see that, just a little glimpse of it. But there's actually a ton of beans down in what I was mowing there. This was just a couple nights ago, and believe it or not, those were Eagle beans left over from last year. Those soybeans are awesome. I love using Eagles, but I didn't plant any back, so we just had some volunteers this season. So I'm gonna terminate that as well, and I'm actually gonna till it up and throw out the brassicas and then cultipack. So pretty excited about that, but a lot of stuff going on. Wanted to just kind of put out the first video. It's a little long, 20 minutes. Sorry, got a little long. My wife says I have a tendency to talk, but I hope that you guys can learn some things as we go along, but I also hope that I can learn some things from you guys, and give me your thoughts, give me your opinions on kind of some of the things we're doing here at our place. Also, we have a farm that's just down the road, about 40 minutes, and that's a place that will do a lot of food plot work and that kind of thing. So hope to show you some of that soon. But hope you have a great day, and thanks for watching. Appreciate it.